at farm gate, you want to look at the variety of the mango, the ripeness. So this is a visual inspection. You want to check for pest damage, if there's black spots, so if the mango has any diseases. You want to see if it's been damaged at all in the harvesting practices. And so then you will also review the storage facilities, if it was stored at all before it was brought to farm gate. What is the utensil that it's brought to the farm gate in? Is this used with the other crops that they are harvesting? And then also you're working with cooperatives, so you want to check that the records are being kept properly. Are the farmers registered? Is this the correct cooperative? And then the right price is being paid at farm gate. These would be the things you would inspect. Okay, next slide, please. So the inspection that would be done at the factory, you would take a random sample of the mango from every cooperative. So this would be from every delivery. And the things you're looking out for to test are the pH, the Brix, and the acidity. You will also do another visual inspection for the fruit. So you want to check it's the right variety, the correct ripeness. Has it been pest damaged? Does it have any disease, black spots? Has it been damaged in transit? So now that it's come to the factory. And so then the next stage would be the processed product. So you want to confirm that it's the right specifications, which again would be your pH, your Brix, and your acidity. Is it the correct weight? What is the production date? And then you want to align this with the batch numbers. And this way that you have a full traceability, that you can go back directly to each cooperative and you can match it to the right batch number. So you have full traceability for your inspection process from the farm to the factory. Okay, thank you, Doc. So these are some of the key activities of inspection for the mango. So when we look here, this is for the inspection of cocoa. So this is along the value chain. You start at farm gate, the storage, the process, and the shipment. So, you know, as P&B, we're going to we'll fix the scope around what it is that you want to inspect. So, like I said, inspection along the value chain, farm gate, storage, process, and shipment.
Thank you, Richard.
Thank you.
I will explain this slide. So as we briefed you that we are going to establish this inspection body with respect to international standard, that is ISO IEC 17020 standard. And in this standard, there are basically 5 major subclasses. One of the class is general requirement, other is structure requirement, resource requirement, process requirement, and the management system requirement. So these are the basically classes into the ISO 17020 standard. When you are going to establish the inspection body, like we are going to establish this inspection body at P&B, we have to follow all these major classes, including its subclasses. Those are applicable to this inspection body. And out of these classes, one of the major class, first major class, is the general requirement as per this international standard. And this is called the class number 4. It starts from class number 4. Why? Because normally in every ISO standard, the class number 1, 2, 3, those are the basic definitions and the basic scope type classes, and those are not the implementable classes. That is why we always start the classes training from the class number 4. Those are the classes with respect to implementation. So we are going to start now the class number 4, that is the general requirement. And in this general requirement, first of the general requirement, if we are going to establish the inspection body, I mean inspection body at P&B, then this inspection body, as per the general requirement, should be impartial and should be independent from any influence. Normally, what kind of influence can be created on any inspection body, and then we can say that this inspection body is not impartial. For example, if you are going to design your product, or for example, you are a farmer, or you are a big farmer or a big cooperative, and you want to develop your own inspection body for to check in your own farms, then it means this inspection body is under your authority, and you are the owner of those farms. So this inspection body would not be impartial inspection body, because you can influence on the decision of this inspection body, and inspection body, chances are there that inspection body would compromise for its impartiality and for its independence, decision making capability. That is why standard says, ISO standard says that inspection body need to be free from any commercial, financial, and other pressures, so that judgment of any produce should come independently. Now I will show you here what is mean by A-type inspection body. A-type inspection body is the basically total independent inspection body, total impartial inspection body. It is free from any influence. It is the inspection body that is not linked with any producer, that is not linked with any marketer. Okay, so this is the independent inspection body. This inspection body is free from any influence, and we always call this type A inspection body. For example, PMB inspection body is the type A inspection body. Why? Because PMB is a third party inspection. Why? It is not a producer. They do not have their own farms, okay, and they are not the marketer. Rather than they are the regulators. So the inspection body that will fall under the preview of PMB, that will be the type A inspection body, and that is the one of the best inspection body always considered when you issue the certificate. The buyer and the seller always rely on the type A inspection body. But it does not mean that I mean type A, I briefed you simply with respect to that. Type A inspection body is the inspection body on the one side, and the client is on the other side. In the PMB side, who is the client basically? The government is the client, and they have to inspect, they have to serve the certificate to the government, and then government has to decide. I mean, if it will be under the PMB, then its inspection body would basically inspect the agriculture produce and will serve this inspection certificate to the higher authority of the PMB, and they will take the decision either to pass the elements, pass those produce or not, and they are fulfilling the international requirement. So type A inspection body is the inspection body. They are not the designer, they are not the farmer, they are not the installer, they are not the grower in case of agriculture. So they are away from these kind of activities. That is why here they are independent on the other side, while all the activities with respect to grower, with respect to farmer, with respect to purchaser, with respect to marketer, those are on the other side, and they are inspecting it with independence, with clear, impartial way. That is why it would be a type A inspection body. Yes, there could be type B inspection body. For example, if some of the farmer want to develop its own inspection body to basically improve. He is a big farmer, or he is a big cooperative, or he is an industry, and they want to improve their system. That is why they want to do the continuous inspection of the farmer's produce. They can develop the inspection body either on type B or the type C, and because they wanted it for the purpose of improvement of their own system. In that case, type B is always the in-house inspection body that will be separate. Definitely, if it is a big cooperative or it is a big industry and they want to improve their agriculture produce, they can develop a separate inspection body, but still it will be owned by that agency, and that agency has the link with they have the interest with the buyer, either or with the grower to improve the capability. That is why they are not independent. They are not type A. They are then considered as type B. Similarly, there is a type C also. That is why type B and type C inspection bodies are never considered as independent third-party inspection body. Yet they need to be developed, and then they are for the improvement purpose of their own produce or their own farms or their own cooperatives. I'm not going in detail about type B and type C, but definitely we are going to establish at PMB, and that would be the type A inspection body. Confidentiality is very important element, and inspection body, when is doing the inspection, they have the data of the competitors as well. For example, inspection body is inspecting the inspection of the produce of one exporter, X exporter, and then there is a Y exporter. The same inspection body is doing the inspection of Y exporter as well. So they have all the data of the inspection produced with respect to each competitor. They are the competitor with respect to one each other, and they are always interested into some of the data that how the quality of my competitor produce was. And that is why inspection body must have a system where all the data they are inspecting for each export or for each import, that should remain as confidential unless and until even it cannot be shared with the higher authorities of the government, unless and until this inspection data is giving the impression that the produce that has been imported or that is going to be exported, that is a safety matter, that has a problem that can impact on the human being, that inspection body has to declare and has to share this data with the relevant authorities immediately, and that will not be the breach of the confidentiality contract. Otherwise, in case of all other scenarios, this data should remain confidential. Uh, I briefed you about this confidentiality. There should be some policy with respect to this confidentiality. When we say policy, then policy should be always supported with the procedure, and procedures are always supported with some data. That is why you have to develop the confidentiality policy, that this is the policy of the PMB, that they will take this data confidential, and how they will take this data confidential, then they have to develop the procedure that what kind of measures they will take, that inspectors should, because the data is coming to the inspectors first and then it is coming to the inspection body. So confidentiality need to be adopted at the level of the people, those are actually inspecting the produce. That is why this procedures need to be developed and this training need to be conveyed to the inspector level who are actually doing the inspection. So confidentiality is very important item. In 4.1, we have discussed the impartiality and basically independence. And this 4.2 is about confidentiality. Overall, entire class, that is the class 4, that is the general requirement, that is based on the three important things. One is the impartiality, other is the independence. And that can be fulfilled in case of PMB because PMB is a type A inspection body. And the second that need to be adopted, that is confidentiality. So independence, impartiality, and confidentiality need to be adopted at all the levels. For the impartiality, we always recommend that there should be some impartiality policy as well, and there should be some impartiality committee, because risk can be identified every time that you are not compromising on the impartiality, you are not compromising on the confidentiality. So there should be some stakeholders committee that can basically oversee these matters, and they can meet maybe after 6 months or after 1 year to share their ideas how to improve the level of the impartiality and how to improve the level of the confidentiality. And if there are some breaches, they can identify it. This is all about clause number 5. And now clause number 5, I would request Rachel to please explain. Over to Rachel.
Thank you, Doctor. So clause number 5 is the structural requirements. So if we go to the next slide, we'll start. So the first clause is that the inspection body or organisation of which it forms part of shall be legally identifiable. So as PMB is a government inspection body, you will be covered under the legal entity basis of a government status. So an inspection body that is part of an organisation is involved in functions other than inspection shall be identifiable within an organisation. So this is when it would be helpful to have organisational charts and full descriptions of each position and what departments they're working under. So this is how you would be able to define that in the organisation. So next slide, please. So thank you. So the inspection body shall have documentation which describes its functions and technical scope of activity of which it is competent. So this would mean that for each agricultural produce that you are going to inspect, you would need a document for this, detailing the scope of how you do the inspection and, you know, the equipment that is used and the departments that it's under. So for every different crop that you work in, you would need documentation for this. So this is what it means by of which it is competent. So next slide, please. So the inspection body shall have documentation describing conditions. No. Yes. Sorry, so the inspection body shall have documentation describing conditions on which it does business unless it is part of an organisation and provides inspection services only to that organisation. Well, as PMB is a type A organisation, you would be fine under this clause. So the next would be that an inspection body or organisation of which it forms shall have independently audited accounts. This would be to prove that you have sufficient budget to cover the scope of your projects. So the next clause, please. So an inspection body shall have an organisation that enables to maintain the capability to perform its technical inspections satisfactorily. So really what this means that the PMB needs to have the trained manpower, the right equipment, you know, the right members of staff, that they have all the right technical training, and then